Hey y'all, it's Ron. I'm out here today in my backyard bird studio, and I'm in my my chair blind, which you can see where I'm at. But I went ahead and brought my Nikon Z8 and the 500 PF lens on the Z8. And I'm not very far from where the birds are landing. I'm going to turn this camera around so you can see. So this is my view right here, and most of the birds are landing in this area right here, and mainly what I've seen today so far is titmouse, chickadees, some downy woodpeckers. I even had a red-bellied woodpecker in here a while ago, and house finches. It's still pretty early in the afternoon, so I decided to come out here and sit for about an hour or so just to see what I could find. There is a titmouse right there. You can see it on that log at the end of that green branch. See it? I put some butter bark, or bark butter, I'm sorry, on that log out there, so that's what's kind of attracting them. The titmouse love suet type stuff. That's a peanut butter lard combination I make myself, and I've got a video on that down in the feed if you want to go down there and find it. I'll leave a link in the description of this video. Right now, I'm going to take some photographs of these little birds out here in the backyard studio. This here's the female downy woodpecker. The male is just above her on this woodpecker pole. He has a red dot on the back of his head. I'll show you to you right here. This is the male. I've placed some suet up there for them to get to. The hairy woodpecker visits here every once in a while. They're distinctively bigger and they have a longer bill on the front of them. The downies have a shorter bill. They almost look alike, but the hairy woodpeckers are definitely bigger than these. There's the red-bellied woodpecker there. As soon as it came in, the downy woodpecker took off. So I would say they don't really get along all that well. This here's the male of the species, because of the red goes all the way back down the back of its head and touches the black and white area. If this was a female, then there would be a break of white along the back of the neck there before it touched the black. So that there's some bark butter in there. They really like that stuff. It's a combination of peanut butter, lard, not bacon grease, lard, melted down. Got a little bit of instant oats, some cornmeal, and a little bit of flour to bind it. I make it all the time in the winter time. They use their tail to help hold on, so their claws are dug into the tree there, but the tail, how it touches the tree right there at the bottom, it helps balance them against the tree trunks like that. Now what I do, because I have a lot of eastern starlings around here and they love suet also, they'll devour it. I put my suet cakes on this piece of wood upside down, and the woodpeckers can still get to it, as you can see with this downy woodpecker, but the grackles and the starlings have a tough time holding on with their legs upside down. They can still reach it, but not as good as they would if I had this mounted like vertically, where they could get to it easier. I took a few photographs of this red-bellied woodpecker, and I'm going to show those to you in the video right now. Currently I'm using my Z8 to record these birds in action. My cell phone wouldn't be able to show that to you very well. One of the reasons I picked up the Z8 was for its video capabilities. Where'd that woodpecker go? So the house finches, this is the female, they run in pairs, and they are chatty little things. They talk to each other. Now in the winter time, we get the dark-eyed juncos, also known as the snowbird. There's one up there in that log right now. I just can't seem to get focus on it here. Now occasionally, well actually more than occasionally, we'll get the eastern bluebirds in the backyard. And they are wintertime, well they're actually here all year round. Last year I was able to witness 3 different broods being raised by a couple bluebirds that stayed around most of the spring and summer at the house. So the male and the female downy woodpecker came back, and they were kind of bickering just for a second. The male, this is the male right here, has the ret on the back of his head, chased the female off. But I think she's still on the other side of the pole. I imagine when the male gets done, that he will leave and she will move in. Let's see if that actually happens. That's the observation I've made before, is when the male gets finished and leaves, the female would jump in. Let's see if that happens here. There's the female higher up on the pole. Their behavior is peculiar. They'll fly in together and then they'll bicker about the food and then they depart separately. Strange. Now the female has moved over to the other woodpecker pole I have, and there's some bark butter in a hole in that. She's kind of eating away at it. Like I said, the ones that like protein, not really seed eaters like this, these woodpeckers like protein. The bluebirds, they'll like protein. They'll either have the suet or go after the mealworms. Carolina wrens, they're like the same way. They're not really a seed-eating bird. Most of the seed-eating birds are the titmouse, the house finches, the chickadees, those kind of birds. Well, I've had a pretty good afternoon in my backyard, birding and doing some photography. And this is kind of like a new direction for me. I've been spending way too much time on doing videos and stuff for my channels, and I've gotten away from photography. It's really hard to balance the photography part and the video production part of your hobby, and I've kind of let it get away from me. So I'm going to try to get back to doing more photography and back off of the videos just a little bit. I think a lot of us who have YouTube channels start chasing the coin to see, you know, what monetization can do for us and stuff. But in my opinion, it's, for me at least, it's kind of hurting my photography, I think. Now, one of the things I have plentiful enough in the wintertime is titmouse and chickadees, and that's in the finches, okay? You get a lot of house finches and the sparrows. You got a lot of chipping sparrows over here. So I get a lot of those in the wintertime. So those are mainly my birds of subject. Now, as we get closer to spring and we get out of the winter months, this is still December, we'll start seeing cardinals and some other birds here. I did see some red-shouldered hawks yesterday on the wood line. There was 2 of them hunting, but I never did get the camera out quick enough to get a photograph of them. So I was able to capture some photographs of that female downy woodpecker, and I'm going to show those to you in the video right now. So I mainly got like 3 perches out here. I've got that log right there, okay, and there's some bark butter on the on that pole right there, and then that's that round stone that I've got sitting right there. Let me see if I can get my finger there. Right there has got some of that suet stuff on it also. So far the birds haven't landed there yet. I don't think they found it. There's a titmouse right there between them 2 perches. So today I'm shooting at most everything's manual settings, 1/1000th of a second at f5.6. And I'm not too sure what the ISO is doing. It's floating around. This is the Z8, so it can handle the higher ISOs, but I've got plenty of light out here today. Well, that's gonna about do it for an afternoon of birding out here in my backyard, and hope you enjoyed that. And you know, the birds are always interesting to come out and watch, and I just love to sit out here and watch them and take pictures of them, and it's a lot of fun. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.